In today's battle, we have Mono Blue Merfolk versus Slivers. Mono Blue Merfolk is a modern deck that uses a control/aggro strategy, meaning it's going to try and aggressively get creatures out, but also use elements of control to try and stop the other deck. It has incredible tribal synergy, which allows Merfolk to buff each other and also help each other in other ways. The two main strategies for this deck are going to be to use Aether Vial to drop in Merfolk very quickly, or to buff up a whole bunch of Merfolk and generate an island on their opponent's side so that they can use Island Walk and make an unblockable attack and swing for a kill. Modern Slivers is a 5-color deck that uses incredible tribal synergy of Slivers to give each other incredible abilities, not just +1/+1s. This deck can have some difficulty fixing its mana, so it uses creatures such as Gemhide Sliver, Manawef Sliver, and also Sliver Hive to try and create multiple colored mana. For this match, Slivers has rolled and is going first. Let's see their opening draw. Reflex Sliver, Gale Rider Sliver, Selesnya Guildgate, Plains, Genesis Wave, Selesnya Guildgate, and Forest. Sliver's opening hand is only okay. It's going to need a little luck on its draws, and this is a result of the inconsistency of the deck, especially running 5 colors. Slivers is going to need to top deck some of its better Slivers, especially the Predatory Sliver or one of those other ones that gives a buff. Otherwise, these other Slivers, while they do great things, they're more support roles rather than the direct aggro. Okay, so Merfolk got Island, Silvergill Adept, Spreading Seas, Echoing Truth, Phantasmal Image, Master of the Pearl Trident, and another Island. That's nearly a perfect hand. The only thing that could have had is maybe an Aether Vial in there, but other than that, this is a really strong hand for Merfolk. I think that Merfolk should be able to come out strong, and I think Slivers is going to have a hard time beating this one. Okay, so playing a Selesnya Guildgate comes in tap, but there's no play available at this time, so it doesn't mess up the tempo of the deck. Okay, so Slivers draws, or Merfolk draws another Lord and just plays an island. Okay, so drawing Door of Destinies is a nice card, but not really a great early game draw. They're playing another Selesnya Guildgate. Okay, again, they can't really play anything right now, so might as well play the lands that come in tapped. Okay, so draws and plays an island on Merfolk's side. Okay, now at this point you can cast some of your lords, or at least one of your creature cards to come out. Okay, so tapping 2 for Silvergill Adept. Silvergill Adept requires you to reveal one of your cards, and revealing Master of the Pearl Trident. That's not a great reveal, especially because you have 4 Lords of Atlantis and 4 Masters in that deck, so it's pretty obvious that you're very likely to have one of those in your opening hand anyways. Okay, another land for Slivers. That's not a great draw. Slivers could really use a creature. They're going to play a Forest to get some better mana. There's not really anything that can be done at this time, so it's just got to pass. That's really unfortunate. Merfolk is going to get an easy attack on the Slivers in this next turn. Okay, so drew an island, playing that same island. Okay. Now, the 3 island mark is kind of a critical mana point for the Merfolk deck because almost every card in the deck can be played with 3 mana, whereas with Slivers you have some that are even up to 5 mana card payments. So this allows basically every card in the hand to be played at this point. Okay, so Silvergill Adept is normally a 2/1. It's being buffed by the Master of the Pearl Trident, so it's a 3/2, and looks like he's swinging. Okay. Slivers is swinging, or is tapping 4, And what are they going to put out? Reflex Sliver. Okay, that's a good card, but it's not the best card that it could be playing. At this point, Slivers, had they had two of their better ones, like Predatory Slivers, could have played two of those and come out and been much stronger than having a Reflex Sliver. Still, it's better than nothing. Okay, Merfolk, I think, has made a misplay and didn't play any land on this turn. Okay, at least not yet. They're playing on Miro Regiray, which is essentially just another Lord. Okay, that makes the Silvergill Adept a 3/2. Actually, it makes it a 4/2 or 4/3, and Master of the Pearl Trident becomes a 3/3 because he doesn't buff himself. Okay, that does 7 damage. Brings Merfolk down to 10, or brings Slivers down to 10. Now, Slivers didn't block because Slivers require you to have a good board presence of creatures. So if your opponent constantly wipes your Slivers out, then you just can't never gain any momentum. So Slivers right now has to hope for some good top deck. Yeah, didn't get it. Okay, at this point, the only thing that Slivers can hope for is a misplay on Merfolk's part. Okay, so it's playing. Let's see. Okay, it's playing Door of Destinies, which is normally a good card, but this card is going to require you to play some Slivers afterwards to really help make it work. I think the game's going to be over too soon for any effect to come from that card. Okay, so Merfolk didn't forget to play a land this turn. Okay, they still got 4 mana, so they can still play basically 2 of their cards from their hand. Okay. Now, casting Echoing Truth is kind of unnecessary since they could have cast Spreading Seas and changed, used Island Walk to make all their creatures unblockable, but either way it still works. Slivers basically has all tapped land and no creatures on the board now, so it can't block. Okay, so Phantasmal Image comes out, becomes a copy of the Master of the Pearl Trident, so that's just yet another Lord. Okay, so tapped it, but actually has to untap it because it has Summoning Sickness. And it's going to swing and looks for a total of, I think, 12 damage, and that's the game. So, in summary, Merfolk was able to win because it was able to cast creatures faster and more aggressively than the Slivers could. Slivers had a really difficult time establishing any strong board presence, especially because it has some consistency problems and couldn't get any of the big strong buffing Slivers out, whereas Merfolk are much more consistent. All of their boards are 2 mana costs and everything in the deck is 3 or less. So it was able to come out really fast. Slivers was only able to block the Merfolk's buffed creatures just because it ran out of gas. It didn't really have anything on the board. So, in summary, Merfolk was a much more consistent, much more playable, and much more aggressive deck, and that's why it won.